Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this video, I'm going to show you how I calculate the coordinates based on the given diameters. First of all, the reason why I'm calculating the coordinates is to obtain the precise position of each node. Imagine a two-dimensional coordinates having an x-axis and y-axis on a Cartesian plane. So I'm going to show you my sketch and how I obtain its coordinates. It is actually very important for us to find the coordinates before start designing the task to make our job easier. So I'm going to show you my sketch. Okay, as you can see, from the outer box, this is actually the boundary. So how I'm going to obtain the coordinates is by knowing the diameter. Okay, the given diameter for the boundary is 150. So if we imagine this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis of a Cartesian plane, then I'm going to start it in the origin 0 0 and then proceed with 150 in the x-axis and 0 in the y-axis, 150 and 150, and followed by 0 and 150. Okay, next I'm going to show you how to find the coordinates for the crude oil, the water, the air, for the conductor 1 and also for the conductor 2. So how I'm going to obtain each of their coordinates is firstly by finding the center point, which I'm going to divide 150 with 2. Imagine 2 pieces, so divided by 2, so I'm going to obtain 75 here, 75 on the x-axis and 0 on the y-axis. This is the center point, but I want to obtain the precise position for each node. In order for me to obtain this circle, it's actually require me to put 2 nodes, one on the left side and also one on the right side. So before I can place the node, I need to enter their coordinates, the x coordinates and also the y coordinates. So how I'm going to obtain those coordinates is just by knowing the diameters of the crude oil. Okay, actually for crude oil, all of these 3 center points, they have the same diameter, which is 5. So I'm going to divide 5 with 2. Why? Because I want to obtain the radius. So dividing 5 by 2, I'm going to obtain 2.5. So for this x-axis, I'm going to obtain the x-axis, the coordinates of the x-axis. I'm going to add and also going to minus 75 on the x-axis with 2.5, and that is how I obtain 77.5 by adding it with 2.5, and also by minusing it with 2.5, I'm going to obtain 72.5. And as you can see, actually for this axis, for the 3 node on the right side, they actually have the same value for the x-axis, which is 77.5, 77.5 and also 77.5. So the same with the left node, 72.5. And then for the y-axis, how I want to obtain this, just by like before, by dividing 150 with 2, I'm going to obtain 75. So after I obtain 75, all I need to do is just add it with 2.5 or by minusing it with 2.5, because the radius is 2.5, right? So after I add this one, that is for the x-axis, but for the y-axis, how I want to obtain its coordinates is just by looking at this. Okay, looking at this line, this imaginary line, as you can see, for the water, the nodes, both of these nodes are located at the center, which is 75. So that's why I'm placing it at 75 coordinates for the y-axis for the water. Meanwhile, for the air, how I obtain 37.5, this one is just by dividing 75 with 2. I'm going to obtain here the position here is 37.5. Both are the same for the y-axis, 37.5. And while for the crude oil, all I need to do is just by adding 75 with 37.5 here, the position, imagine, okay, imaginary line, okay, so I'm going to obtain 112.5. So these are the coordinates for the crude oil, for the water, and also for the air. Meanwhile, how I'm going to obtain the coordinates of the conductor 1 and conductor 2 is actually just by dividing 75 by 2. I'm going to obtain 37.5 in the center, the center point of this circle. So here is the right node and here is the left node. So for the left node, how I'm going to obtain the coordinates is just like I said before, we need to know the diameter. So the diameter for conductor 1 and conductor 2 are the same, which is 25. So I'm going to divide 25 by 2 and obtain 12.5. So from this 12.5, I'm going to add it with 37.5 to obtain this x-axis 50, and I'm going to minus it with 37.5. I'm going to minus it with 12.5 to obtain 25. That's for the x-axis. For the y-axis, since it's located in the center of the y-axis, so it is 75. Same, 75 and 75. For conductor 2, as you can see, it's located in the center, in the imaginary line for the x-axis. So it is both are 75. While for the x-axis, how I'm going to obtain it is just by adding and also minus 112.5 with 12.5. I'm going to obtain 125, and by minusing 112.5 with 12.5, that's how I obtain 100. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.